Hi everyone, this is Dr. Alison Gagan with Little Black Bag Medicine, and today I wanted to talk to you about self-care products, gluten, hormones, all of those things, because I was reading about gluten intolerance and then watching videos of mainstream doctors saying, leaky gut doesn't exist, gluten sensitivity is a lie, and nobody has these issues. And as I was reading the Anxiety Summit that just finished up, and Dr. Tom OBrien was one of their guest speakers and talking about brain health and things like that. He was going on about products, tattoos, gluten-free things. And so when I first saw gluten-free a long time ago, like gluten-free shampoo, I thought, this is ridiculous. Like, I think we're going too far with the gluten sensitivity, right? This is too far. And the more that I've learned, the more that I realize how incredibly necessary those products are. And what I like that Dr. OBrien said about these things is he says, there's really no debate. Anyone that wants to debate this just hasn't read the science. And how completely true is that? That we have the testing, we have the science, we have the research, we have the biomarkers to prove that gluten sensitivity is an issue. And so if you're not aware of what leaky gut or gluten sensitivity is, I'll fill you in really quickly. So gluten is a protein that is really hard to digest. And when we eat proteins in all food, they break down into their individual components with our digestive enzymes in our stomach, our pancreas, gallbladder. And if gluten is not broken down, it stays as its protein, and we cannot use that, we cannot digest it, we cannot assimilate it as nutrition. So when it gets into the intestines do open and close. So everybody has leaky gut. It's the way that our body kind of samples, our immune system samples what's going on in our gut to make sure everything's good, fight off any bugs, things like that. So as it opens and closes, it'll get a hit of this gluten protein, and the immune system will just tag it and say, this is an issue, I don't recognize this, it's not an amino acid, it's not broken down, but this gluten thing, this gluten protein's an issue. So if you see this again, make sure that you attack it. So over time, as you're not breaking it down, and this can happen with any food, and I see this a lot with people who eat the same thing every day. So if you're eating eggs and blueberries and bacon every morning for breakfast, over time you're going to develop a tolerance. So the immune system, as you keep eating this, so we have gluten, most people have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're having muffins for breakfast, sandwiches for lunch, things for dinner, pasta for dinner. And the immune system just keeps getting hit and hit and hit, and it ramps up. The problem that it turns into is that many of our cells, our systems, have protein-like markers. So our thyroid, our brain, our pancreas, all kind of look like gluten. So the immune system is not perfect. It'll go, this is close enough, and it will attack it. So that's why so many women who have hypothyroid issues also are gluten sensitive, because as they eat the gluten, the immune system's walking around their body, it sees their thyroid kind of looks like gluten, and it goes, attack it. So now we have all these autoimmune conditions coming up. And there's so many receptors. I have all my research in front of me. I'm not going to bore you with it, but the research is absolutely there. Maybe in the comments I can put some things on there if you really want to. But as these antibodies increase, we can see this in the blood. So anti-LPS markers, actomyosin, zonulin, all of these things we're looking for antibodies to show us. So this can be even further than a food sensitivity test where, am I sensitive to gluten, yes or no? It's not that easy. There's over like 100 different types of proteins of gluten. So there's not just one type of gluten protein. And then our immune system has 5 different types of cells that we want to look at, like IgE, IgG, IgA, IgM. So if you're not getting all of those, you're not getting a full view of how sensitive is your body. So this goes way beyond that. So when the second half of this, as I said, was hormones, and there's a lot of talk in the energetic, the female community of, oh, my period's so heavy, it's so horrible, I'm in so much pain, I must be really toxic, or this is all because of my emotions, and I'm shedding toxic emotions. And I want to sit here and say, yes, that's definitely a possibility. But the other thing that we have to think about is, you can sit here and say it's energetic, but what are you putting on your body? What kind of shampoos and conditioners are you using? You're definitely wearing makeup. You're getting your nails done. You're getting your hair dyed every other week. You're using products. You're using shampoo or lotions, things like that. All of those things are estrogen driven that are messing with your hormones. So when we have these products that are affecting our body, everything that you put on your skin will get into your bloodstream. It's just the way it is. So our skin is porous. It is meant to absorb. So we have to be careful with these products that we're using, because it can directly affect our hormones, our immune system. So if you're struggling with autoimmune conditions and nothing seems to be helping, one thing you might consider, this is not the only thing, and this is not the only solution, but looking at your food sensitivities and then looking at the products that you're using. So shampoo, gluten-free, conditioner, gluten-free, makeup, clean, gluten-free. Because if you're sensitive to different foods, but then you're putting them on your body, in your body, you're absorbing them constantly, you're still going to be building up those sensitivities. You're still going to have an immune attack. A lot of people who have psoriasis, eczema, issues like that, who are also gluten sensitive, are just killing their skin because they're putting all these lotions on that have gluten in them. They're using, like if you have scalp psoriasis or eczema, you're using products that are literally feeding your immune system to keep attacking your skin and these issues, especially with eyes, thyroid. So if you're putting lotion all over your neck and your face, and it's driving this immune reaction to keep attacking your cells, this is where probably part of these issues might come in. So the first thing I would say is that get a food sensitivity test. Make sure it's whole blood. And by that, I mean not a blood prick, not a hair test, not a saliva test, not a genetic test. I want to see a tube of blood that is being used, because a lot of these tests, it's just not enough. You're not getting a live immune reaction, so it's just partial. It's not enough to tell you everything that's going on. And then eliminate those foods that you are sensitive to. I see a lot of people will send me their food sensitivity tests, and they're like, well, I just cut out the high foods, but everything else is fine. The reality is that you want to rotate the foods that are on those lower ends. So like Genova's test that I use, they have very low and low, medium, and then high. So we want to take everything out, start rotating the very low and low foods in and out, so that way your body decreases the sensitivity to them and your immune system gets a break. And then those medium and high foods, we want to take them out completely and give your body a break there. And then the high ones almost never can be reintroduced, because your body will always have that cellular memory. And then the next step would be looking at your supplements. Are they immune neutral, which is a huge thing, which is why I use companies like Apex Energetics, because they are specifically immune neutral. They're not going to trigger you. They're gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, all of those things. So you don't have to worry about it. If you're taking supplements off the shelf like vitamin D or your multi that might have gluten as a binder in there, a lot of medications like prednisone have gluten in them as a binder. Look at your medications. Do you need them to be compounded at a special pharmacy, which is really no big deal, but they can make it so it doesn't have the things that you're sensitive to. When I was in the hospital, when I got home, I have hundreds of prednisone pills, and the pain that those pills caused me was insane. And I didn't know that there was dairy and gluten in them. And that time I was ridiculously sensitive to them. So that whole time I was just feeding my body something that should have been anti-inflammatory and good and helpful, but it ended up causing so much more harm. And then look at your products, shampoo, makeup, things like that. What are you putting on your body, your skin? And get to the bottom of that. So that is how we can really support the body in the autoimmune flares, things like that. So that way your body is protected, you're not feeding it. So I know it sounds crazy to look at gluten-free shampoo, but it could make all the difference for you, and your hair and your body and your thyroid and your weight too, because your inflammation will go down. So thank you for tuning in today, and we will see you next time.